with the new folks who come on. But it's always a pleasure having you regulars on as well. I look forward to seeing you all. Today's topic, as Celeste said, is very relevant. Um, and it is important because I noticed something happening. Let me see. When I started noticing a lot of this, maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe 12, a lot of people getting themselves in situationships, right? And you all know that that word is not, well, for me, that's a word that I didn't even know existed. I think it's a word that is only relevant for the past decade or so, even less, right? You all know what a situationship is, right? Let me see you all in the comments if you know what a situationship is. Yes, right? I think by now most people, right, know what a situationship is, but it is somehow becoming a more common thing, right? An undefined relationship, correct? It is becoming more and more common, and I'm finding that a lot of women would find themselves in these situations where they are close to a male gentleman who is, yes, their friend, but a little bit more. But there's no commitment and there's a bit of confusion as to where the relationship is going, and the person is unsure, about this person's feelings for them. And honestly, I find that I'm like, which is why I said, when I did up my post today on my page, I was like, this love thing is not meant to be complicated. But I think over the last decade, and I think it is partially due to social media and the way people communicate now, the means by which people communicate, like WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger, all these different things, now TikTok, that the way relationships evolve, how they start and how they evolve, it has changed. And so that is why I think things become a bit complicated. In my days, it was pretty simple, right? And my days, you know, I'm 50. So, when I was courting my husband, having a cell phone was a luxury. And it was the only way we could chat with anybody outside of face to face was on a phone, a landline, and then we had ICQ. If you know what ICQ is on this call, you are over 38. Let me see who know what ICQ is. Let me see in the comments. Tell out yourself. What is ICQ? I know some of you will pretend you don't know what it is. I believe you, Sally. I believe you don't know what ICQ is. But let me see you ask. Can anybody know what ICQ is? Okay, Allison has no idea. Waiting for the first person. Mm-hmm. You don't know? No? Okay. Somebody must know what ICQ is. Okay. ICQ was the equivalent. Crystal is pretending, but I think I chat with Crystal on ICQ already. ICQ was the equivalent to Messenger. It was the way that you communicated via the internet. And it was like, when it came out, it was like a big deal that I could actually chat with you, not on a phone or not, that was ICQ. And that was years ago, right? But it was a rare thing. Anyhow, so this topic is relevant because women are finding themselves in these situations and they don't know then the person that they are close to is not clear, hasn't made their feelings clear, and left the woman in a position where she has to guess. I know anybody here know what I'm talking about, where you actually have to try and figure out, you in a friendship with somebody, it seems like it's kind of exclusive, but not. And you have to try and figure out if this man really like you, if he's really interested, if he's really invested in you. It shouldn't be that way, ladies, right? And I think it has become complicated, and I want to clear it up for you. We said 10. Yeah, it's the worst feeling ever, right? Because you don't want to risk scaring the person off. And I'm sure you're listening and you all can relate. You don't want to risk scaring the person off by asking them, hey, we're friends for 2 years now. You like me? You have feelings for me? Is it mutual? Because that could, if it's not, you stand the risk of that's it. You scare the man and he's like, well, this woman talking about feelings. That's just my horse, right? You can all feeling, and while all you are to him is his horse, right? And then you're on the other end thinking, if I don't ask and if I don't bring it up and it's not said, he might think I'm not interested. And then so some women would say, okay, well, I will go and tell him how I feel. And then that's risky too, because you don't know what he's gonna say. You don't know if he, so ladies, it shouldn't be that way. It's not that is not God's plan. That's not how love is supposed to happen. I don't know how we got there. I think it's really I don't understand why asking is an issue. Well, when I get into the session, you'll understand. When I get into the session, you will understand. I've known many a woman who have asked, and that was the end of the friendship, right? Because the person was not on the same page with them. So my point is, you're not supposed to have to guess if you're all on the same page. That's what nice. You're not supposed to have to guess if you're on the same page. That's what I mean, right? And there's a time frame to what I'm going to talk about tonight as well. I'm not talking about somebody that you met, right? Or that you know for 2 months. Okay. I'm not talking about somebody that you know for a few weeks, that you're chatting with for 2 months on WhatsApp, and you're trying to figure out if the person like you, right? To me, there's no big risk if after 2 months I'm talking to you and I want to know where this is going. Let's say we constantly chatting for 2 months, right? Morning, noon, and night, chat. Again, closer to again, feelings fair, whatever, right? I don't see no big risk in at that point saying, hey, where this really going? Actually, it's best you ask then, right? Where this really going, boy? You like me, you're attracted to me, you have feelings to me, you want us to be in a relationship, because that chat could go on and go on and go on, and you'll just, and that's how people end up in a situation. Nothing is said, nobody establishes that there's any feelings out there, and you're just going until one day he move on, and you like, but what did jail? I thought, so yeah, nothing wrong with asking if it's just 2 months or a few weeks or whatever you're chatting, but I am talking about somebody who has found themselves, let's say, in a relationship with someone. Let's say you start dating the person, you're actually dating. Now, I don't necessarily believe that you have to be, actually, let me don't jump the gun. I'm going to get to all that naturally. So let me stick to my program, right? So I have sort of retitled this session that this is the title, you should be his pearl of great price. And I got that term from the Bible, actually, right? As Celeste said, I'm a pastor. My husband and I pastor a church in Woodbrook. And so I'm going to be talking to you from a lot of different, from just wisdom, from counseling people, from the word of God, from my own experiences in life. But I always talk about the natural and the spiritual. I could never leave out the spiritual because it's very important in our lives, right? Even if you don't realize it, it plays a big part in the direction your life goes in, right? And so, as I said, I changed the title. So you should be his pearl of great price. And I got that term from a scripture in Matthew. I think it's Matthew chapter 13. I'll just read what it says, right? And this is scripture is talking about when somebody discovers God and the kingdom of God and discovers the love of God, what it should be like to them. But you can liken it onto somebody that loves you too. So think about a man, interested in you. It says, the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure that a man discovered hidden in a field. And in his excitement, he hid it again and sold everything he owned to get enough money to buy that field. The next verse says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant who, on the lookout for choice pearls, when he discovered a pearl of great value, he sold everything he owned and bought it. And so this is talking about the kingdom of God. And when you discover the love of God, how you are willing to make changes in your life. You're willing to almost like, not give up everything, but give up the things that you know are not pleasing to God in order to have a relationship with him, right? It's like finding something of great value. And ladies, if you think right now about the things that you value in your life, not necessarily people, but things, let's say you really, really value, I'll use something simple. This just came to mind. There are people who love their dogs. There's a dog lover on this call right now. I will not make her out, but I have heard this young lady talk about her dogs. And when she talks about her dogs, it's like she's talking about children. It's like she's talking about the love of her life. She even makes statements like, any man who come with me, I come with a package, my 2 dogs, and he have to accept my dogs, like, right? So immediately when you hear her talk, you can tell the great value that she places on her dogs, and nothing is wrong with that. Some people place a very high value on their possessions, right? And they're very particular. They're very, they're willing to protect it. They love their car. They will do anything. If somebody bunks their car, they're ready to kill them, right? If somebody come in their house and they put a little dirt on the floor, it's like they have great value, right? People who value things and possessions, when you walk in their house, let's say they have things that are very precious to them and very costly, especially costly things. If somebody go too close to your vase that costs you $50,000 and they're talking and their hand moving, you're watching them sideways. Like my grandmother, I'm going somewhere with this, right, ladies? My grandmother bought a glass lamp. I remember as children growing up, everybody was afraid to go in that corner because she would threaten us if any one of us broke that lamp. It was almost like she was threatening our life because it was expensive and valuable to her. And she would say, listen, nobody went in that corner. It was in a corner on a side table. Nobody ventured there because we knew the high price that woman valued that she had on that lamp. And we knew it cost her a lot of money. And we knew that if one of us, honestly, we felt like she valued that lamp more than us. The way she used to get on over that lamp, right? So with all that said, ladies, with all of that said, it takes me to my number 1 point, right? My number 1 sign, right? Which is supposed to be obvious. If you are, and again, I'm talking about, let's say you are in a relationship with someone for a year, maybe 2 years, and there's still a bit of uncertainty, or that you haven't crossed that barrier yet to say, which to me is long, right? You all haven't started talking about the future, he hasn't expressed any interest in that way, and you're still trying to figure out, right? That's a little tricky, right? Or you're in a situationship and you're trying to figure out if this person's sticking around because they love me, or is this just my horse, right? So the first sign that a man really loves you is that he will show how valuable you are to him by investing in you. And I'm not talking about money, right? I'm talking about dropping other interests in terms of females, and treating you like if you are his pearl of great price, that he found something that is so valuable that he's not willing to risk letting you go. That's what the scripture about the pearl of great price is about treasure, right? The risk of letting you go is too great for him. So he realized what he has found in you, and he's not willing to lose you. He's not willing to lose you. And you will know if a man feels that way about you. And again, I'm not talking about somebody you met for 2 weeks. It's too much pressure for a man after 2 weeks to think of you as a pearl of great price. He could like you plenty and say, wow, something special about this one though. But we ain't get there yet, right? I'm talking about the ladies who find themselves in this situationship where you're not sure and you're not, right? If this man love you, ladies, this is what I'm saying. If he really loves you, if you're trying to figure out if it's love, right? He will be invested in you. And this is what I mean by invested. I'm not talking about money, right? The price of your love must cost him something. In other words, there's no investment that is free, right? So he must be willing to make some kind of sacrifice. So that, like this is what I'm talking about. Let's say he in a situationship with you because he's afraid to commit, and he may have other options, right? Or let's say you are dating someone 6 months, 7 months, going on 8 months, 9 months, and you're not sure how the person feeling, and there seems to be some kind of hesitance, like you're feeling the pull, you're feeling the hold back, right? And time is going on, right? If this person values you, right? If they must, at some point, if this person really values you, and well, if they love you, they really value you, they are willing to make an investment in you. They are willing to make a sacrifice for you. So they are willing, 1, 2, all other options gone away with. If after 2 years, ladies, listen to me, please properly, listen to me well. If after 1 year, in fact, I would even go, let's say 6 months to a year, right? A guy is still playing the options game with you, and you all know very well what I mean. Where, yes, Ole in something, but he still have a little options around. He don't want to let go. Do you understand? Of the other options that might, because he's still, then you are not a pearl of great price to him. He has not seen you that valuable to let go everything else. From the time you realize a man start to let go other woman, like, is he just on you? Another thing, if he starts to invest his time in you, right? Time is something that is precious. How many of you all consider your time very precious, right? Which is why, ladies, you should not be finding yourself in situationships, right? Don't be going around in circles with no man for months and years and you don't know where it's going. Your time, all you don't value all your time or what, right? So if a man is willing, it's priceless and it's something that you cannot get back, right? If a man is willing to invest his time in you, right? He wants to spend time with you. He wants to give up things that he may not give up permanently, but I mean, because you are in his life now and you are of great value, he's willing to make compromises. So there are other things now that he would say, hey boy, I used to do this on now, but I want to spend time with X or I want to spend time with Y, right? That is making an investment in you. And it's not gonna seem like he's not doing it like if, well, okay, I have to make an invest. He wants to, right? He is in what he wants to do is be with you, right? He's willing to open up and share things with you that he has never told anybody. Personal, deep things. This is all within number one, right? From the time you realize a man starts to place this high value on you and sees you as his pearl of great price, he's going to feel comfortable and more be able to be more transparent with you and start to share things with you. And you'd hear him say things like, I want to tell you something, right? I never told anybody this before, right? And from the time a man starts telling you that, you know that this man is seeing you, because men don't open up just so, ladies, right? Men, they don't just come out and open up. So if you're in a relationship with somebody and they start opening up in that way, you know that, okay, this person perhaps cares very much for me, right? Before I go on there, I want to say something, right? Love, ladies, is risky business, right? It's a risky thing. Hear why I say that. If you open yourself up to be loved, um, yes, they don't open up. But if you find one who does, if a woman find a man is saying, listen, I want to tell you something that I never told anybody before, feel special. That's a sign that you are special to him, right? Yeah, so I was gonna, love is risky, because if you open yourself up to love someone, ladies, you are also opening up yourself to be hurt. If you don't realize that by now, maybe you've never been in love, because it's the people who love you the most have the ability to hurt you the most, right? The average person walking down the street cannot hurt me by telling me something hurtful. I would just ignore them, right? Somebody I might just interact with now and again, but people that I love, that are close to me, that are precious to me, they can hurt me. So if you open up yourself, ladies, to love, you must see that as a risk. Please understand that. Don't be naive, ladies, right? I'm 50 and I'm talking from experience and 21 years of marriage. If you are opening up yourself to love, not only a romantic relationship, even friends, parents, children, the people that you love the most have the ability to hurt you the most. So that's why I say love is a risky business, right? So with that said, ladies, you can't expect to love and not be hurt. Okay, it's just not practical, because most human beings are flawed, right? The only perfect love you will ever experience in your life, ladies, will come from God. I don't think that there's a human being that can love you perfectly, except for only God could do that. I don't know if there's one, right? If there's somebody on this call here who is in a relationship in a relationship with someone, they probably have those kind of relationships too. In a relationship with someone who you could say that person loves you perfectly all the time, well, boy, I don't know. That must be some angel God sent for you, right? But there's risk when you love, right? So, with that said, ladies, listen to me and listen to me well. Us ladies, no, you ladies tend to fall in love quick, 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 right? So, I have some advice for you, right? Based on what we're going to talk about now. You should not be quick to open up yourself to every guy who starts to pay you attention or smiling at you or giving you some kind of chemistry, right? Don't just be quick to fall in love. Become friends person. Become a friend to that person first. Get to know who that person is. Hear why, right? You don't have to know everything about them, but at least they should be a friend. Hear why I'm saying this. Once you fall in love with somebody, then your judgment becomes blurry. The saying that love is blind is correct. It is a true saying that love is blind. So, which is why women put themselves in a very dangerous position when they fall in love quickly, and many women do. At the first, at the first, baby, I find you a sweet, girl. I want you. I remember a lady shared with us in the last session. She said I think it was her husband. I think she was divorced, either her husband or her children's father, who was eventually abusive, right? Very, very early in their friendship, he would make statements like, girl, I want you to make my children, girl. Um, I want you to make my children, girl. I want you to be the mother of my children, and start right early on, right? Those are red flags, right? Those are not things to be flattered about. Those are actually red flags, right? So, ladies, do not be quick to open up your heart and open up yourself to any man who give you some sweet talk and well, you now start chatting because love is costly. Love hurts, right? No, no, let me fix that. Love hurts. No, you can be hurt. So when you open up yourself early to this person that you barely know, and you expose your soul to the man, start to tell him all your intimate secrets, and you fall in love after 2 months, right? If this man is not good for you, or there are a lot of red flags, or he has issues, or he doesn't really love you, you stand the risk of being hurt and crushed when it ends up not going where you expected the relationship to go, right? So, ladies, I am saying to you to guard your heart and do not be quick to fall in love. You all hear me? I'm almost feeling like I'm begging because I am begging you. Do not be quick to fall in love. And how do you prevent yourself from falling in love quickly? Don't um don't expose yourself, right? Do not open up yourself to everybody who come and give you a little sweet talk. Don't start to tell them the intimate things. Don't start to see yourself. Don't how you gonna see yourself married to somebody after 2 months? You know what I mean? That might be a little quick. Get to know the man now, right? Get to know the man a little bit. Get to know his family. Get to know who he really is. Get to know his values. Get to know the things that he values high in his. You need to get to know this man, right? Meet his family. Talk to his mother. Talk to his sister. Something, but don't just fall in love, right? Um, because listen, when you fall in love quick, vision blurry. You're not seeing things clearly anymore. People will try to talk. People might be seeing stuff and trying to talk to you, and you can't hear them because you're in love, right? You're blind. So, so hear this, right? If you know that the relationship really has a future, only then should you open up your heart, right? So you're only when you know that this thing has a future. At some point, you do have to open up. I'm not saying you remain closed forever, but only when he kind of starts to reassure you that this relationship has a future, it's going somewhere, you can open up your heart and enjoy the time you spend together without worrying about where it is going to go, right? You should not be in a relationship and your worries where this gonna go, boy. What he really thinking, boy? What he really feeling? Watch me. If a man is in love with you, ladies, he will not want to risk losing you, and he will let you know. Again, I'm not talking about in 2 months, 2 weeks, even 3 months. I'm talking about a man who has been around you for a while, or let's say somebody you dating for a year, and it's still not really clear, you know, you'll still getting to know each other kind of thing, eventually he's gonna have to bring you to the point where you are comfortable enough to know that, okay, I could see a future with this man. You could open up yourself to him, and it's going to be more, it's going to be freer and more enjoyable. You're not going to be holding back because you know that this man loves me, and just enjoy getting to know each other, right? Um, so right, so let me continue with number one. So I was saying, right, so I was saying he would make investments in his time with you. He will drop other women. He will open up to you, share things. He will find himself making choices that put you first, right? Um, like, so an example. Now, of course, ladies, some are all you all overdo it with this, right? I'm not talking about, some women become very clingy and needy very fast. And they want you to be talking to the person. Or the person must be texting you all the time, calling you all the time. If an hour pass and you and say, hey babe, you're wondering what's going on. I'm not talking about that. So when I say put you, but as you must know, if somebody wants to make an investment in your life, wants to be part of your life, they're going to make compromises, right? So let's say the opportunity comes up to spend time with you or to spend time with his partners, let's say to go lime or whatever, right? And he not because you asked, but when he actually think about it, he's like, wait, now I actually prefer, I custom going with these fellas today, but I actually really want to spend time with Lisa or Jenny or Mary today, boy. And you find him starting to make those choices, and you'd actually be like, you know, but you know, you didn't have to not go, you know, you could have go with them, but he's like, nah, Gail, I wanna spend this time with you, right? I know I ain't gonna see you for the rest of the week. So hard luck for them fellas, right? And so he rather spend the time with you. The price that he might pay in that situation is his friends not understanding. And that's a price because it's his true friends, right? But he willing because he see you as valuable. So I'm not saying the man have to not have friends and do lie with his friends again. I give you a scenario. I'm giving you examples because you know it's well, what you mean make choice? What you mean you compromise, right? So I'm trying to help all you, right? He not gonna see you for the week again. It have one day he want to see you. But that day is the day he's normally go and play football. But that day is the day he's normally go and um, play cards or FIFA or basketball, whatever men do, right? And he said, nah, boy, if I go and play football today, or FIFA today, I not gonna see this girl till next week. Nah, fellas, hard luck. I gonna, right? The fellas may not understand, and that's just a price that he would be willing to pay, right? Because at the end of the day, he can't marry none of them, right? And he in love with you. So that is also something that you could look at. Um, so investing in anything, ladies, cost. And if a man is not willing to pay the price to be with you, well, you're just not that worth it to him, right? To me, one of the biggest obviouses, you learned a word tonight. One of the most obvious signs to me is a man who had other options or had other female friends around, had open options, and they're willing to give up all other options for you. That's a big sign, right? Now, earlier on, I said I wasn't talking about money in investing, but spending money on you is a way as well too, right? But that could be a cop out for some men. So you can't take that, ladies. You can't take the man spending his money because people money precious. How many of you all find your money is very precious to you? How many of you all value all your money? Repeat what, love? Um, I'm not sure. Oh, okay, right. I was saying that one of within this bracket of him valuing you and you becoming his pearl of great price, one of the biggest signs is when he comes to that place where he's willing to give up all other female options for you, right? So you all are friends for 2 years in a situationship, or you could be now getting close to going into a relationship, and he has other female friends that he's very close to. That could be options. He's willing to say, I want her. She is my pearl of great price. Like the Bible talked about selling every other thing. And you know, the scripture actually even said it was so precious that before he went to sell everything, he hid it because he didn't want nobody to take it. because you realize how precious it was, and then came back and bought that pearl of great price, right? Or that treasure. So him willing to give up other female options, if it always have some other woman hanging around and hovering around, if you had a wonder if he liked that one and that one and that one, oh my gosh, you're not valuable to him. I'm sorry, you're not valuable to him because he will not want to risk losing you. And for you to be thinking, well, maybe he do, maybe he like this person or he like that person, or right. So you find a pearl of great price. I don't need no other pearls again. This is the most expensive pearl. This is what I want. So right. So it's an obvious sign to me. I was talking about spending money. Um, it could be a sign because I was asking you all, how many of you value your money? Your hard-earned money, and you even say it. You don't play with your money. Let me see the people in the comments. You work hard, and your money is something that is, yeah. Money is something that people value, right? And money just happens to have, but yeah, people don't play with their money. So if a man come around you, and especially if it's not like a man who's too wealthy, or he could be wealthy, and you realize he's spending on you, right? And you're thinking, oh, you don't have to do that, you don't have to spend, but he wants to because he sees you as more valuable as having the money in his pocket. So he gets more pleasure in taking that money that is valuable to him and buying something for you to see you smile. That could be a sign that this man is invested in me and loves me. However, ladies, listen to me carefully with this sign. This is not a sign. I'm still within number one. Do not take that on its own as a sign, because some men use the money as a cop out. Some men actually use buying things for you as a way to, it's actually a cop out if that's all they're good at, buying things for you, and because they know a lot of women, unfortunately, their love language is gifts. And once the man realizes gift is get you basically, right? He goes, "Is gift you want, or you want me buy thing is dinner?" He will buy things for you and neglect all the other things. And because you love things and you're happy that he buys things for you, you're willing to overlook the other crap. You're willing to overlook that he don't spend much time with you. But when he see you after 2 weeks, he come in with he bring in a iPhone for you, right? And so when he come with the iPhone after 2 weeks and not seeing you, you forget that it's 2 weeks he didn't see you. You're like, oh my gosh, you buy an iPhone 14 for me. You think I remember? Even though you had it in your mind to say, boy, 2 weeks gone and you ain't even come and check me, you went, right? Because he had the iPhone. That conversation cut because you get an iPhone. So that is called a sugar daddy. If that's the only investment he willing to make in you, ladies, spend money on you, you got yourself a sugar daddy, not necessarily that love you. And he know that the gifts and the money and the things could keep you, and he would use that. That don't mean he love you. But within the context of all the other things I'm talking about that a man could do to show value, money is one. Spending his money that is precious to him on you is a sign, right? But not on its own. So don't go now and say, yeah, my man is buying things for me. All you know, that don't mean that a man loves you. Not all on its own, right? Um, now I want to be clear about this because we're talking about the man investing time and stuff, but you all understand what if you value something, what that means, right? But it does not mean that the man has to drop his hobbies, drop his friends, and you become his world. No man should make a woman his world, and no woman should make a man her world. Big mistake, lady. Not because you meet somebody that you love and you value and you care about, and you, with all your heart, you want to spend every dying moment with the person. You want to talk to them morning, noon, night, day. That's how you feel. But in the practicality of life, you can't do that because we have jobs, we have a house perhaps to take care of. We have other interests in life. The man can't be your only interest. Same way, um, for him, you women, you cannot be a man's only interest. You cannot expect a man to drop his life, drop all his hobbies, let go all his friends and family to show you how valuable you are. Please, that's not what I'm saying. But you must be able to see that he is making compromises for you, that he's including you in his life. So, yes, he might, let's say he likes, okay, let's say every Sunday he would go by his family, right? I'm just trying to help you all to see ways that a man can actually value you, right? every Sunday, he likes to go and visit his parents, right? That's something he did religiously. And now you are in the picture and you want to do something else on a Sunday, right? Love is compromise, ladies. It's something that works both ways, right? If you come into the man life and you meet him going every Sunday to see his mother and father, let's say you don't live with them, whatever, right? Why would you want to try now to manipulate him to stop and make him feel like proving that he loves you would be him not going to see his parents on a Sunday because you want to go cinema, right? No, that's manipulation, right? If the man really loves you, really values you, really cares about you, bet your bottom dollar at some point he will say, "You want to come with me?" Right? I'm gonna see, because in fact, he would want to take you to see his parents, to meet his parents, to be a part of the family, because you are something of value to him. You are adding to him. He actually wants to show you off to his parents. That's how it's supposed to be, right? If you ask him, this would be a red flag to me, ladies. If he goes every Sunday to see his parents, and after a year, just giving you examples, or maybe 6 months, a year, you say, "Oh, well, can I come with you this Sunday? I know I'd love to meet your parents." And he say, "Nah." You ask him the next 2 weeks, "Can I come with you to meet your parents?" Nah. That go on for a year. Why I can't meet your parents? I don't understand. Why I can't meet your parents? Anybody could help me? Why? What possible reason that I can't come home and meet your parents if we are in a relationship, right? So what I'm saying, I said all that to say, ladies, it's not about him dropping his life and his hobbies, his career, everything, and his life has now become no. But it's certainly he's going to make compromises to include you in his life in as many ways as he can. But life goes on without you. The man have to work. The man have hobbies. He might be into sports, whatever. You have to let him still be who he is, and individual. You can't take that away from him, right? So that's number one, ladies. If the man value you, he gonna show you. Nobody have to tell you how somebody should act if they value you above all other women, if they love you, if they care, you're gonna. It's not a mystery, right? It is not a mystery. Um. So, and a very important thing before I go on to number two, ladies, you have to value yourself too. You also have to value yourself. If you do not value yourself, if you do not hold yourself to high standards, and you don't see your self worth, if you don't have self confidence, you would be willing to accept any kind of love, right? And by that, I mean, it's not really going to be love, but you'd be willing to accept treatment that is really should not be acceptable to you as a woman if you really have high self worth, right? Eventually, you're going to start to see red flags going up, and you'll be like, "Oh, what am I, chopped liver? I have no importance. How come he could spend time with everybody else and everything else but me?" Right? That's a good sign that the person just don't value you. They don't your company, your they don't value your company. Um, it's not like they want to spend time with you. If they're spending time everywhere else doing all kind of thing, and then you last, so you always getting dragged. So, you know, but if you value yourself and you see yourself as high value, um, certain things you will not tolerate, and red flags would start going off very early in the relationship, and you wouldn't be willing to accept certain types of treatment, and you'd be like, okay, and breaking up with the person, let's say it's early in the relationship, will not be hard for you. It ain't gonna be no big deal. You'll be like, see that, I see where that's going, and I don't want that in my life, right? So you have to also have a value, place a value on yourself, ladies, and not be willing to accept any old behavior from a man, right? Um, if you have to wonder if he's really invested in you after 2 years, come now, okay? If you're still wondering after 2 years, walk, forget it, forget it. That's my advice, right? Um, number two, this is number two. All of that was number one. My goodness, I spent a long time on number one, because as far as I'm concerned, I could stop right there at number one. But number two, men are hardwired to protect the ones they love. It's actually a scientific fact that I found out today. That it's a you can research it on your own, because I ain't no scientist, right? but it's actually a scientific fact. Men, uh, they almost come out of the factory, but we know it's not a factory, but God actually placed in them a sort of protective instinct. And I'm not only talking about protecting you in times of danger, right? But that is part of it too. So an example of that would be, let's say you are walking down the street and like a vagrant, you see it's like a man coming from a distance, coming close to you, or acting irrational or crazy or whatever, like a madman. He would automatically, without even knowing that he did it. That's why I say it's hardwired in men, right? Without even knowing that he did it, he will move you out of the way, right? If if he do the opposite, like the man coming and go to all you're scared, but he said go, and he push you, watch my seat, run, don't, don't entertain. Right? Let that be all your last date. Let that, let that, if he pushing you in front of the danger, ladies, let that be your last date, please. Please, okay? Right? Sorry to laugh, right? But men are hardwired to protect the people that they love. And so that is something that you could look out for. That is actually a sign, that is one that it kind of will automatically happen the more he starts caring about you, right? They will protect you in all scenarios. You're crossing the road and it might be car far, far up your road, but they're making sure you don't go out in the road. They're stopping you. And you might be saying, what is that? Right? They become very protective, but not only when you are in danger, they protect you in other ways too, right? They defend you in social situations. And by that, I mean, they defend you, they will defend your reputation when you're not there, or even if you're there, they'll be quick to defend you. They will stand up for you if somebody's being mean to you, being rude to you, being unkind to you. He would automatically pick up for you. If he hears somebody talking, excuse me, if he hears somebody talking about you or trying to bad talk you, it would be just a natural thing to defend you. He would find himself becoming very defensive, right? Um, he would find people would start saying to him things like, oh gosh, you just really defend she boy. Oh, you just defend her so she can't do no wrong, yeah? That is a good sign, ladies. You see when people start making that statement, she can't do no wrong, yeah? And because you always defending her. No, I'm not saying defend her to the point where she's doing strippiness and you're just letting her. But you know what I mean? When you're really in some kind of social setting and you're being attacked in some way, um, if it's his immediate family, he's supposed to do the same thing. He's supposed to do the same thing. It's not supposed to be any different. If it's his mother, his father, his brother, his sister attacking you, he is supposed to come to your defense. The Bible says that when a man take a wife, they become one. Man is no one with a mother or father or sister or brother. They one with a wife. And the Bible says that that man is supposed to leave his family and cleave to his wife and become one with her, right? Not his mother and father and family, right? So if his immediate family is being rude to you, insulted, and he is there and not doing anything, if you are not married to that person, do not marry them. I could say that and go and sleep and suck my finger tonight. And no, I give you good advice. I'm not giving you bad advice. If you are in a relationship, ladies, I'm saving you if this is your situation. If you are in a relationship with a man, you are over by his parents' house. Did I say parents'? You're over by his parents' home, and his mother or sister or somebody is being rude to you, insulting you, or you know, the mothers with their sons, they might they might be insulting you in a sort of a low key kind of way. They're not coming out, but it's understood that they're trying to be mean to you. Um, and your husband is recognizing this and doing not husband, sorry, your boyfriend or friend that you are getting close to get into a relationship with is standing up there and allowing you to be insulted and hurt. I'm telling you, my husband point when he talks his family time, right? Um, I'll I'll Celeste will read those comments and stuff at the end, and we'll get to ask questions and so on, right? Um, if he's doing that in your relationship with him, my advice to you is to end it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If he cannot defend you, against his mother or his father, whoever it might be, sister or whatever, you might be going into a real sticky situation in marriage there, right? That's just me. So even if it's the immediate family, the man will protect you, right? Um, think about you know, it's easy to know if you really, really find somebody that you love, it's easy to understand what you should accept for yourself. You know, if you love your children, people say, I will die for my child. People that say, if anybody come up in my child face and do my child this, what and what they could do to the person. You want to protect your children with your all, right? The, love is love. And if a man is not willing to protect you, protect your reputation, um, protect you from being hurt by people, insulted, then you're not something precious to him. It's not really difficult, ladies. It's really not difficult, right? Um, so yeah, so even though, sorry, yeah, right. So they protect you in a social setting as well if somebody's insulted. Listen to this carefully. This is part of number two and protecting, right? Write this down if you have to. You can feel the most vulnerable. Sorry, you can be the most vulnerable version of yourself. Express your deepest fears with him and still feel safe, loved, and protected. Right? That is not easy to do. To become your most vulnerable, to show somebody that part of you that you consider, your, let's say, your weakest part of you, your most vulnerable, your biggest fears, the things about yourself that you would consider, where you things that you might even be shamed about. If you could express those things with that person, and at the end of it they still make you feel loved and they want to protect you and you feel safe, that they give you the assurance, and this is something that will build with time. Now when you realize I can trust this person, um yes, it really is, that is true intimacy, right? When you realize I could trust this person with my most broken, the most broken part of me, and there's no risk. Because imagine, think about this, ladies. Imagine I come with my most vulnerable, tender moment, thing, feeling. I spill it to you, and when I tell you, and it was the hardest thing in the world for me to do, right? Um, listen, just to build up the courage to tell you, I sweated, I had a bucket full of sweat because it's something I never shared. It's something that made me seem really vulnerable, open, transparent, and and after I share it with you, the person either belittle it or, let's say, laugh, or the person say, we don't know what that thing, sorry about that man and thing, right? Or worse, or one of the worst things would be that you share that vulnerable weakness or whatever with that person, that fear, and they repeat it in a casual way, let's say among somebody else. To me, that would be betrayal, right? And so if you realize that you could express, when you express you could you could have a meltdown basically for the person, right? And it just be that vulnerable you that nobody has probably ever seen, or maybe only your parents or those close to you. And at the end of that, you feel like he is protecting you, that he is reassuring you, um, and you still feel loved and you still feel safe, right? And then he relates to you after, not from that place of vulnerability. So he doesn't bring it up, he doesn't see you differently, treat you differently. You have a man who loves it. You have a good man there, right? You have a good man there. And even though in that vulnerable state, right, you might have just been venting, right? You might have had a meltdown. It is in within a man, built in within a man as well, to be a logical thinker and a fixer. So whereas women would go off on an emotional, thing, a man will want to know how, okay, this, you see this? I want to know how I could help you with this. I want to fix this. I don't want to ever, I don't want to see you like this again. I don't want to know that you even feeling like this. So I want to fix this. What can I do? And for some women, that might come across strange, like, wait, what you could do? Because for you, a woman, you feel it. You might feel it could take you 5 years of therapy to get over it, right? 5 years of sitting down in a chair and talking to somebody. But to him, because men are much more logical, um, and they want solutions, right? They don't want to have a 3 hour talk. They want solutions. For him, the natural thing to be is to do is like how they would be thinking after you talk to them and open up to them. Their thinking would be, how I could help this girl. How can I help this girl get over this thing? How can I help this girl to see herself differently? Or how can I get this girl to see that there's more to her than this thing that happened to her in her past, right? He gonna want to look for solutions. And so that is something, and that's all part of him being protective of you, right? Um, simple things too. If you're feeling cold and he have on a jacket and he see you feeling cold, man, he not gonna think twice to take off that jacket and put it on you. Um, if you're sick, he wanna be there for you. Now, men are not really, not all men natural at this taking care of the sick thing. Not. I remember, but they'll want to try though. Um, what time is it finishing, my dear? Listen, we normally go to about 9:30. Yeah, about 9:30. This might end up being a two-part though, because I've only reached number 2 and I have 9. I didn't get to 10 points. I have 9. Right? So this is probably gonna have a part 2 because I want you all to be able to ask questions, right? But about 9:30 for the person who asked the question, right? Um, what was I saying? All right. I was talking about if you're sick, he wanna, at least do something to help you feel better. It ain't gonna be like, yeah, it will get better, right? Um, but men are not just not all men are natural at that, right? But they wanna show some kind of. I remember I used to get horrible cramps as a child. Horrible, horrible. Not a child, as a teenager, real bad cramps. And I stayed home from work a day when my first job, and my dad was home too. And I was in the toilet vomiting and cringing in pain or whatever. And he was like, he kept coming by the door and saying, well, what you need? What you need? And I was like, please, man, I just want to be left alone and, suffer until it's over. And I just see his hand stick through the door and he hand me something. And he's like, drink that, right? He stick his hand through it. And I was like, okay, because I delirious. I didn't even know what it is. When I drink it, it was a cup of salt water, right? So as I put it in my mouth, I just spit it out. And I said, Daddy, what's this? And he said, well, I don't know. I just and he just picked a cup of salt water for me, right? But I knew what it meant is that he just want me to he just wanna do something and you don't know what to do and you don't want to be helpless, right? So things like that. They wanna take you out. They don't want you to be in any pain, any discomfort, that kind of thing, right? So that's number 2, protective, and we saw all the different ways a man can protective. Number 3, um, they will motivate and inspire you like nobody else. They will be your biggest cheerleader, right? They will actually make you feel better about yourself than you do about yourself. They'll make you feel better about you than you feel about you. They will actually see qualities in you that you didn't even realize that you had. And they will want to invest in your gifts and talents. If you have a talent, if you have a gift, if you have some ability that, let's say, they realize, oh, this could be something. She could sing, right? This girl could sing, or this girl could really dance, or whatever. They will want to, push you even further. They want to see you shine. They will build you up. Um, yeah, so we'll talk after, love, right? I kind of saw a part in the comment. We'll talk after. Right? They're gonna be your biggest cheerleaders. If they're gonna push you to be better, and this is important, right? This is important. If you are gifted at something or really doing well at something, let's say you are successful in your business. Let's say you are a CEO or somebody who is really career oriented and you're doing well in whatever position you are, or a talented, whatever it is, and a man sees that is intimidated by that, that's a red flag, right? If he's intimidated by your success, it's a red flag. Your success is supposed to make him excited. It's like, wow, I get a real good woman here, boy. And he's supposed to want to motivate and push you even further to make you better, to make you greater. So, ladies, it is going to be a red flag if the man is intimidated by your greatness. Let's say there's something great in you, something that you're good at, and it intimidates him, it's a red flag, right? So the opposite is true. If a man loves you, he's gonna push you further. He wants you to be even better than him if it's possible, right? So that's a big sign too. He's gonna be a big cheerleader, and he's going to invest in the things that you are interested in as well. His time, his money, right? He might even take up an interest in it if he loves you, right? So that's number 3. Number 4, he will respect you as a person. He will respect your choices, your beliefs, your ideas. This doesn't mean he agrees with everything that you do, but he will be willing to see things from your perspective instead of pulling you down and belittling your thoughts and ideas, right? Um, if a man is not willing to see your perspective on anything, ladies, because he has a strong will and he's strong will and he has his thoughts and beliefs and he stick to them and he's not willing to see things from your point of view, a big listen, a big part of marriage is compromise and seeing things from the other person's perspective and making compromises and actually making changes based on your partner, based on the one that you love. So if every time you come up with an idea, a thought, or you're just being yourself, you're expressing something, he belittles it, or he's never willing to see your point, he's never willing, it's always, nah, I think this better. Like you don't have a voice, right? Basically, he doesn't respect you as a person. And in fact, you find that he's trying to change who you are, right? If a man is trying to change you to love you, he don't love you. Think about it. If he's trying to change you, right? And I've heard men say this. Well, like, kind of boy, but there are certain things, boy, right? I wish she wouldn't do this, and I wish she wasn't this, and I wish she was this, and what, right? What I want to do is put together the perfect woman. So I like her. I like her because of something. Let's say I like her because you'll when you talk, you'll get along great, you laugh. She's funny, she make you laugh, you're compatible in that area, you feel real free with her and thing, but you don't like how she's look. So you're trying to make her now. So you're not that totally attracted to her, but you want her mesh personality. But you're trying now to not manipulate, let me not use the word manipulate, but you're trying now to make her physically into the woman that you want, right? Or the other way around. You like how she looked, but you're not too fond of certain her personality. You wish she was better at this, or you wish she didn't do this, you wish she didn't do that, and you're trying to make her into somebody. If the man trying to change you and fix and but he don't love you. He trying to make you into somebody he can love, right? But if a man respects you, he understands your personality, who you are, and he's willing to work with you and try to see things from your perspective, not accept everything that you belch out, but at least able to compromise now and again and say, let me listen to her. Again, if you value somebody, ladies, if let's make this example work. If Elon Musk come to Trinidad, right? And Elon Musk he wants to talk to you personally and give you some 5 tips on how to get rich, how to make wealth and make it last, right? He want to talk to you personally. Say, I'm gonna give you an hour, right? I'm gonna give you an hour, and I'm gonna tell you the 5 things that made me successful, and I'm gonna walk you through. I'm gonna give you notes. I'm gonna help you. You're gonna refuse that help? And be honest with me. He said, I just want 2 hours with you to help you to, you know, to be more financially successful, give you some tips to help you see how I got to where I got to. No, I don't think anybody in their right mind gonna tell Elon Musk, nah, I don't want to hear what you have to say, no, because here what's going on. I have my way, right? All your way get you is a shop on the corner. Nothing wrong with just having a shop on the corner. I don't have a shop on the corner. But what I mean is, you would be prideful and foolish and just downright ignorant if you're not willing to spend an hour or two with somebody as successful as Elon Musk or let's say Bill Gates or anybody who has been successful, right? To get advice from them as to how to make money or get wealth or whatever, right? And the reason why nobody here would give up that opportunities because you see great value in what he's going to tell you. And because he has a track record, right? And so why would I stick to my way that just getting me by, right? Just taking me month to month when I could get advice, right? So if you value somebody, ladies, it's not difficult to recognize if somebody values you, right? They will be willing to listen to you. They'd be willing to make little compromises. Now, again, it doesn't mean because in that hour or 2 hour talk with Elon Musk, he might say something I disagree with, but don't mean I go throw away everything he say because I know it can help me, right? Um, so again, if you keep going back to number one and think about what the things that we value, people that we value, you will see how easy it is to recognize if a man really loves you, right? Um, so he's gonna respect you, right? He's not gonna pull it down and ignore your views. You're important to him, so he's gonna let you be you, right? Number now, sometimes you could be a little off, right? But I'm saying his goal is not to change you. He loves you, right? Number five, right? He will pick up on little details about you when you all talk and remember them in the future. And he will bring those things back up just to make you happy, right? So you having a casual, this is actually a sign that could be, like one of the earlier ones, right? Let's say you're in a friendship with somebody and you realize this thing is going somewhere. This could be something, right? And you are talking casually to the person and you might mention something like, when I was 5 years old, my mom took me to Coney Island, and that was the best time I ever had in my life. Okay, let's not say five. When I was 12 years old, my mom took me to Coney Island, and you just talking casually, and boy, that was the best time of my life. I love that Coney Island thing. It was so great, or whatever. And it's something I always want to do again because it would make me feel, saying whatever, whatever. And she just saying that casually, or talking, yeah, yeah, yeah. But some time passed, let's say a Coney Island in Trinidad or wherever, or whatever, and you remember that, and you make it a point to make her feel special by, let's say, taking her there, right? I use Coney Island, but it could be a simple thing like her saying casually in a conversation, I I always wanted to go to, let's say, a fancy restaurant. This and that's like my dream to go to this restaurant. And he might not be a rich person, but because he loves you and he wants to make you happy and he values you and he sees this as you being happy is gonna make him happy, he will make an effort to take you to that restaurant. Or a simple thing like, excuse me, a simple thing like you mentioning to him in a conversation or giving you all ideas, right? So you can't say don't know. You mentioning to him in a conversation the name of your first dog. When I was 8 years old, we had a dog called Spock, and Spock died, and it was so sad for me and taking right. And you just think you babbling on, but he's so into you and listening to you. 2 months later, you're talking, and he say, so your dog Spock, when he died, you'll be like, whoa, well, you shouldn't show it, right? One of these days, I will give you all some tips as ladies as to how to get a man without him knowing you're trying to get him. But anyway, this is it, right? He he tell you he calls Spock. He's the dog name. I say Spock, whatever, right? The dog name, right? And that to me, that'd be like this man was listening to me, Dread. He wasn't just, because sometimes you could be talking and talking and talking and somebody not listening to you, ladies. Leslie, I know, right? You could be talking your whole heart and mind and throat out, and that man in here, now he just going, because sometimes, listen, ladies, and all of this, I want you to understand something. Huh? There are players out there, and they have men who can mimic certain things, and they have men who, if they just want to get a woman, if they have another agenda, let's say they want to just eventually have sex with you, they have men who know what to do, and they know what women want to hear, and so they have tricksters out there. But if you've seen a lot of these signs together, right, it is a good indication, right? But it doesn't mean it don't have players out there, right? But generally, a man and I'm not talking about, again, ladies, I'm talking about somebody that you are already in a relationship with, or somebody who has been around you for years and you're just not sure. person in a situationship, right? Which you shouldn't be in, but yeah. If he brings up things that you thought were insignificant that you just mentioned, and he remembered it and comes up in conversation later on, that's a sign. But you know for sure he's listening, right? And you know, if you as a woman, if you love somebody, you know what it is to sit down and you want to hear about their day. You want to listen to what they have to say, right? And you know, if you really, really care, you pay attention, there are little things that people would say that would let you know what makes them happy, what makes them comfortable, what makes them uncomfortable, and you pick up on these things. And you're supposed to be able to see these things later on. You're like, whoa, he is paying attention, boy. That makes a woman feel special to know somebody is paying attention to even the little things that you don't mean, that you don't say, well, I want you to pay attention to this, eh? But in conversation, he realizes that this is important to you and he shows it, right? Things that make you feel happy, he'll make sure to do them often because he wants you to be happy, right? Um, that is number 5. And I think what I'm going to do is stop there. And because I know ladies have questions, right? I'm going to go over 1 to 5, right? And we'll finish the other 5 next week. And I want you all to ask the question. And I want Celeste to read some of the comments because I just didn't see them. They were too fast, right? Number 1, which as far as I'm concerned, we could just stop there. If a man loves you, he's gonna place a value. You're gonna be valuable to him. Anything that is valuable to you, you'll make an investment in, right? And things that you make an investment in, let's talk in the natural. If I buy a BMW, it means I'm spending a lot of money, right? I am not playing with the BMW. I'm not gonna play. If your car passed too close to my car, I nervous. I sweated. Yeah, why? I know how much money I spend for my BMW. I know if you hit my tail light, that taking me out $10,000 just for a light, or 12 or 15. I don't know. I never owned a BMW. But we know how to treat high valued things. And if you don't feel valued, ladies, by this man that you have been in a relationship with for a while, or has been just hovering around in a situationship, you're not worth it to him. It's just that simple. And that's not on you. That just means he's not the one, right? Don't try to make it work. Don't force it, right? So number 1, you will be his pearl of great price, right? Number 2, he will protect you, right? And we know what protect means, not only physically, we went through that. Number 3, he's going to motivate you. He's going to be a greatest cheerleader. He's not going to pull you down and you're not going to be competition for him. You're not going to be intimidated by you. He will respect you as a person, your choices, your beliefs, your ideas, willing to see things from your perspective, right? Number 5, he will pick up on the little details about you, things that make you happy. You'll be able to tell if he's actually listening to your conversations. He will bring up things that are important to you, and yeah. So that's 5. We do the other 5 next week. I want you all to be able to ask. Well, Celeste, I saw a couple of comments or questions, but I really I wasn't able to read them. So maybe we could start with the ones